Number 20, Kenya Boy. As one commentator so eloquently described it, this is exactly what happens when you mix together Tarzan, Japanese patriotism, and a drug-induced fever dream. Honestly, this movie is a wild ride, filled with so many hilarious cliches and unnerving stereotypes that you'll struggle to keep track. The premise, at least at the start, seems to be about a Japanese kid living in Kenya finding himself lost in the wilderness, only for Nazis, dinosaurs, time-traveling snakes, evil shamans, atom bombs, and every other kind of craziness to suddenly make an appearance. Does it make any sense? Of course not. It's so bonkers, we're actually a little scared this is what the creators thought Kenya was really like. Number 19, welcome to Irabu's office. Mixing together live action and animation isn't anything new, but few have accomplished it so fluidly as Irabu. Then again, few anime have been as off the wall as Irabu, on account of it dealing with a crazed doctor, dealing with patients with crazed afflictions by means of crazed solutions.
Irabu Ichiro, yorochikubi.
The imagery, both the metaphorical and the somewhat erotic, courtesy of Irabu's curvaceous assistant, is certainly enough to turn heads. But if there's one aspect of this show outside of its outrageous presentation that would likely cause some outrage, is its portrayal of mental illness. Even if it is a comedy, you know it would still strike a sore spot. Number 18, Final Fantasy Unlimited. To be frank, the abysmal quality of this series barely plays into why it will never see a do-over. Though rest assured, it is terrible. What assures that this little experiment, absent of any connection to the mainline series of games, would fail is that modern-day Square Enix wouldn't dare try something like this. No marketable and recognizable characters, no chance to branch out into infinite spin-offs, no way to stuff NFTs into the mix.
Lisa. Do it. Fire me.
Yeah, this thing is now nothing more than a relic, with the occasional chocobo popping up.
Well, hi there.
Number 17, I'm in love with my little sister. Didn't take long to step into incest territory, did we? Don't worry, there's a few more of those on the horizon, but what makes this such a unique case is that it's an incest shoujo. Not the kind of subject matter you see scurrying around the genre known for true love and purity. Just seems crazy that so much time and effort was spent establishing a will they won't they plot that most shoujo fans would adore, save for the fact that the leads are, you know, siblings. The incest may never die in the anime scene, but we doubt that one like this will resurface. Number 16, Puper. Horror anime is constantly finding new ways to shock us with its creativity and ferociousness. This, however, is what happens when you pair a sadistic premise with terrible production. Even the most hardcore gorehounds are going to be severely disappointed by its fleeting runtime of only a couple of minutes.
その子は生まれながらにして歯が生え揃っていました。まるで自分が化け物であることを主張するように。
All the while, everyone else is going to be turned away by the story revolving around cannibalism between a brother and sister, the latter having to devour her perpetually regenerating sibling in order to satisfy her demonic hunger. Yeah, that's a hard pass from us, and just about everyone else.
血にまみれて一心に肉を頬張る妹の姿。
Number 15, the Qwaser of Stigmata. Hey, we're all for mixing action with fan service. In some cases, it even enhances the experience, so long as the show knows when to find a balance. Good luck finding any of that here. To be honest, with the way the show glorifies and puts all of its budget behind the notion that the main character gets his power through sucking the chests of the female cast, we're wondering why they even included any semblance of a narrative to begin with.
熱はないみたい。
Look, if you want to go full fetish, go for it. Just don't expect your series to get a revival when a show has such a severe tonal whiplash baked into its bones.
ユーリさんがそうしろって。
Number 14, Angel's Egg. Sometimes a piece of art is so staggering, profound, or unique that to try and have a second go of it feels like it would be a dishonor. Not that it stopped several anime remakes from committing said cardinal sin, so all we can hope is that they don't come anywhere near this hauntingly beautiful flick. With little dialogue and a plot that's enigmatic at best, Angel's Egg is one of those classics that has to be experienced, with many fans still combing over its themes to this day. Though, given the appetites of modern anime audiences, it's debatable if many would appreciate an effort such as this, or something even vaguely similar if it was released today. Number 13, Sexy Commando Side Story, Amazing Masaru. Right then, back to the abject weirdness that only anime can deliver. Going from a standard high school romp about a shy student wanting to make 100 friends, no, this isn't prototype Kami, relax, all the way to a martial art about distracting an opponent by pulling random objects out of their zippers. Honestly, the laws of physics don't exist here, as the cast soon find themselves using the so-called sexy commando style to overcome all manner of real-life obstacles. Not sure how that translates to characters turning their genitals into dimensional rifts and pulling out pigeons, but we doubt any studio is going to be in a hurry to bring this amalgamation of 90s anime mania back. Number 12, Sayonara Zetsubou-Sensei. We love black comedy, especially ones that aren't afraid to satirize and poke fun at the rigidity of Japanese culture.
本当に好きなら心中してごらんなさい。練炭に睡眠薬に遺書、その他もろもろ。私が常日頃持ち歩いている旅立ちパックです。
This is certainly one that newer fans should seek out if they want to laugh and wince in equal measure. So why not bring it back with a fresh coat of paint?
自分なんて生きていても何の価値もない人間なんです。
死ぬ気なかったんですよね。
何を言うんですか。死ぬ気満々でしたよ。
That would be because the main character is a teacher who, while ironically great helping his students with their troubles, sees life in a completely negative light and is constantly trying to take his own life. You can see why such a premise might cause a bit of a stir.
やめなさい。ここは私の大切な心中予定地の一つです。
Number 11, Yosugan Noora, and we're back to the incest train once again. In one of its most infamous incarnations, since this series features way more brother-sister buffoonery than you're likely to find anywhere else.
もう我慢できない。好きなのある。
Apparently, the 2010s were host to a whole slew of anime that decided story was just code for straw-thin interludes connecting each piece of raunchy material together. Given its lewd and much contested history, we doubt we'll see its ilk again, though it's fair to say its legacy can be felt in modern anime trash.
すごいこれ奥まで来る。
Number 10, Wicked City. One of those retro anime flicks that somehow avoids becoming a hentai by the narrowest of margins.
I admit I'm shocked. I'm afraid I'm dreaming and I'm gonna wake up.
Not that anyone really got deep enough into the plot to see any of the other gritty content on account of the opening scene involving passionate bedroom action between our cocky detective and his new lady friend, only for her to suddenly transform into a spider hybrid, complete with a snapping maw and several rows of sharp teeth in some questionable areas. I mean, where can you really go from there? Certainly not towards any kind of remake. Number 9, Elfen Lead. Lucy's bloody struggle in a world that wronged her is one of those dark and despairing series that really should have a full adaptation by now. It's got a cult following, its mature themes certainly strike a chord, plus it has one of the most tragic anti-heroes in modern memory. So what's stopping it?
Waiting for that?
Probably the impossibly high kill count, the countless decapitations, as well as an abuse subplot. Its own darkness is its own enemy when it comes to getting a second shot at the limelight. Number 8, Mezzo Forte. This thing is a mini miracle. Why? Because it's a cop drama with some pretty slick, cel-shaded animation you'd think would go on to become a classic, if not for one particular scene. Turns out that in order to get this funded, Studio Arms had to ask publisher Green Bunny for help, who happened to make hentai for a living. Thus, we have these shoehorned scenes that are as gratuitous and detailed as you can possibly get. You've seen it, don't pretend you haven't. As you can imagine, getting a helping hand from X-rated distributors isn't exactly a common practice these days.
Little Miss Orange? I got their shoulders, but I was aiming for their heads.
Number 7, Manu Hickinshaw.
しかし、放入は富であり絶対。
If something as glorious as interspecies reviewers was cut from broadcast due to its mature content, then there's no way in anime hell that something as blatantly fan service driven as this would ever stand a chance. After all, everything is secondary to smut in this show, narrative included.
放入微乳を育むための古今東西あらゆる術が記されているという。
Essentially, it follows a female ninja roaming around as she absorbs the breast size of her enemies and adds it to her own. All the while, all manner of lewd antics follow her and her pervy sidekick day in and day out. With none of the charm to hold up its gigantic bust, it wouldn't be long before a second shot at this exploitive ninja parade of heaving cleavage was cut down.
姉上といいお前といい、そんなに巨乳がいいか?
Number 6, Pompoco. One of Studio Ghibli's far more experimental flicks, there's a lot to love about this fantastical take on the Japanese folktale surrounding Tanuki. Sure, the plot goes to all kinds of crazy places and makes no attempt to veil its pro-environmental messages, but come on, talking to Nuki have and always will be adorable. You know what's not adorable? Seeing them swell their happy sacks to monstrous proportions so that they can be used as parachutes or weapons to take down the police. Somehow we just don't see that flying nowadays. Number 5. Shimonetta, a boring world where the concept of dirty jokes doesn't exist. Vulgar jokes combined with a not-so-subtle commentary on how repressing natural urges to obscene degrees is a terrible idea. This series was a gem.
オナニーをしてるってスキャンダルよ。
そんなわけあるか。
あら、昔見た映画で言ってたわよ。
A very dirty gem, saturated in way too much of Anna's love nectar.
クッキーに混ぜ込んでみましたの。
Personally, we'd love to see a continuation of Blue Snow's anarchistic antics as she tries to bring erotic and R-rated content back into society, and yet we know some groups would be up in arms for a show essentially prompting PIV propaganda. Though, to be fair, Anna might have taken things a bit too far when she tried to have her wicked way with her bland-bred protagonist against his wishes.
この気持ちをどう発散すればよいのやら。
Number 4. Golden Boy. A tale of tragedies and triumph, an underdog's desperate search for knowledge. Gintaro's saga was truly one we'll likely never see the likes of again.
No, my queen, forgive me!
Mainly due to the fact that every place he went to ended up somehow enticing a busty beauty to such an extent they were willing to surrender it all just to get a piece of his golden boy.
So, how do you like my swimming?
While it's not too far removed from some of the ecchi content seen in today's sleazier anime scene, we can see networks having some issue with how, well, vocal the ladies can get when it comes to their wanton desire.
Come back and claim your prize!
Number 3. Koikaze. Brother-sister relationships are nothing new to anime.
お兄ちゃん？
It's everywhere in the harem genre, it's always being made fun of in comedies, or just being shamed for the icky and destructive subject it is. And then there's this little anomaly, a series that portrays the folly and heartbreak that comes from two lonely souls who fall in love in earnest and are unable to suppress their desires, even though they're blood-related.
ごめんね。好きになってごめんね。
You feel such sympathy for these two, even though you know this will never end well. With such a serious edge to it, we doubt we'll see anything of its kind again, and that's probably for the best.
好きだ。
Number 2. Genocyber. Ultra gory, ultra violent, ultra disturbing, this anime lives and breathes shock value. Especially if it involves humans being torn apart in the most ludicrously brutal ways imaginable. What's the plot? Does it really matter?
You're kidding.
Nope. You boys want to take a leaf out of that kid's book.
Psychic girl meets homeless boy, illegal experiments, massacres ensue. While it's incoherent at the best of times, the sheer amount of depravity and body horror displayed is so obscene that there is no way something like this would be replicated. Even the most hardcore modern series have some kind of cap on how much blood and guts they can get away with showing. Something like this has zero filter and zero chance of seeing any sort of resurgence. Number 1. Kodomo no Jikan.
私の夢は先生のお嫁さんになることです。
Yeah, not sure we have to go into detail about how having a young student in love with her teacher and go to extensive lengths to show it is, well, hate to say it, problematic. Seriously, how this got an original adaptation, we'll never know.
まったく憎たらしいやら可愛いやら
While they don't cross all of the morally questionable lines, there are still scenes of Rin throwing herself at her teacher on numerous occasions, with her sole goal being to become his wife. Can you imagine the shitstorm this would cause if they tried to bring it back?
だから3年生相手にセクハラなんて考えすぎですよ。
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.